it and see if she comes back in. All righty. Got a couple of questions to go over. Let's go ahead and pull them up.
You know somebody done homework?
Yeah, somebody actually did some. I couldn't believe it. Goes to show you that y'all never cease to amaze me. I'll put it in the folder. There they are. This question, it comes, I bet I've gotten this question about 6 times. It's not a question I would put on the test, but it's out of 1.3. It's number 7 online. You can see it. Turn that front light off, please, if you don't mind. It wants you to make a subset. And what a subset is how many different combinations of these classes. Well, just think about it. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they want, list all possible 2-course combinations. So what I do is I take this one, and then I put it with this one. I take this one, I put it with this one. I take this one, I put it with this one. I take this one, and I put it with this one. Now, this is also a question of common what? Okay, list 2 possible, okay? Common sense. Now, 668, 668, and 681, how many classes is that? That's 3 classes. Even though one's the same, I don't think I consider that in the subset. The rest of them are possibilities because they're 2 classes and it's asking for 2 classes. 668, 681, 668, 656, 668, 617, 668, 699. And then, depending on what I detailed, it's really vague. It doesn't say how detailed it wants. You could go 681, 668, 681, 656, 681, 617, 681, 699. 656, 668, 656, 681, 656, 617, 656, 699, 617, 668, 617, 681, 617, 656, 617, 699, and 699, 668, 699, 681, 699, 656, 699, 617. Now that's the expanded subset. Okay, I don't know which one they want, but if you write it down, we'll see which one they want. I don't know. I've never done this question. I've done it for students, but I don't usually use this question, so I have no idea what the answer is. So we'll just do it together. All right. So 668, 681, 668. 656, 668, 617, 668, 699, and then 681, 668. Now, you could say that these 2 are the same. They are. But that goes back to the question, do they want repetitive or non-repetitive? I don't know because it doesn't say. So I'm going to just write them all out and then we can go from there. 681, 656. 681, 681, 617. 681, 699. Then 656, 668. 656, 681, 656, 617, 656, 699, and so on. Next one will be 617, 617, 668, 617, 681, 617, 656, and 617, 669, Six what? Okay. And then the last one, 699, 668, 699, 681, 699, yeah, 699, 656, and 699, 617. All right, 656, 628. I don't see 628 on there. 668, 699. I think that's on there somewhere.
See what else did we first say?
Okay, yeah, right there.
And the first one on the last set.
And the first one on the last set. Okay, so you see they're repetitive. So that one checks. 668, 681. Well, I know we got that somewhere. Okay, right there. 699, 699. Well, that's the same class, so that's one class. So I don't know about that one. 668, 617. 668, 617. 617, 669. 617, 699. Yeah. 681, 617. 681, 617. That's one. 656, 699. That's one. 681, 699. 681, 699. 656, 617. 656, 617. 668, 668. That's the same class. 681, 656. 681, 656. That's one. And 668, 668, 656. There it is. Now those are the legitimate classes. Now I don't know what the answer is, but I would go with those first. Let's see what happens. I'm sorry, what? Because it's three classes. That's not following directions. I don't know that you could possibly argue that this is one class. Well, if it's one class, why'd you put it twice? You see what I'm saying?
If you're gonna include that, you're gonna have a million other ones.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
question in the homework, and it was all possible two first sections, and the likelihood that you'll have those two particular classes, so I and Jay do not need that.
Okay. Well, I didn't think so because that's the same class. That's one class. You see what I'm saying? I mean,
You say two different course sections.
exactly. The question is very vague. Why am I trying to think? The question is very vague. That's another reason I wouldn't put it on the test. But I'd say this one, 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 and this one. I got it right.
It says that for you no matter what you do.
I know. I programmed
You
it.
set it up.
Wouldn't you love to program those comments into the computer? I would be fired the first week. You suck.
Something wrong again.
You're wrong. You're stupid. McDonald's is hiring. That's what I would put. Somebody could really get in trouble doing those things. All right, everybody got that one? Okay, now the second one. Comment on the likelihood 656, 699. 656, 699, and then 699, 656. Now, if you're talking about order, if the order matters, if it has to be 656 first, then it's 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 5 times 4 is 20, right? So it's 1/20th, 1 out of 20. Now again, it's vague. It doesn't say order. It doesn't say that the order matters. So it could possibly be 2 out of 20, which is 0.2. Because there's another one down here. What is it? 656 and 699. Now if you read this question, comment on the likelihood that EPR 656 and EPR 699 will be selected. To me, that says no order. I'll say 2 out of 20. Okay? So that's wrong, so put 1 out of 20. Why is it wrong?
Well, it's 40 altogether, isn't it?
What do you mean 40?
This is 1 out of 10. Yeah, and that was the reason I sent you that. But this isn't the question I sent you, it's just the
All right, let me read the question again. Comment on the likelihood that EPR 656 and EPR 699 will be selected. They're talking
Well,
about
we're
out
not
of these
double.
sections. They're talking about out of these sections, aren't they? Okay, then it'd be 1 out of 10. I'm sorry, I was talking about out of these whole. They're talking about, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about out of these that you checked. Again, if they put that in the original problem, if they put repetitive does not count, then that would narrow it down. But they didn't put that. So you can't assume. Okay, we got it right. That's why I don't put the question on the test.
Now you gotta comment on it.
Huh?
You just gotta comment. Just be like, I like this.
What do you mean comment?
Well, that's
Where?
what I'm saying. It said comment on it.
No.
It didn't say what is likely. It said just comment on it.
Oh yeah, we didn't get to comment. We just put that. All right. Does anybody got a question on that one? So technically, if you was to put 2 out of 20, I wouldn't mark it wrong because you've got 20 subsets right here, and 2 out of 20 reduces down to what? 1 out of 10. Okay. All right. I was just showing you out of the possibilities, but that's a very vague question. Very vague. Everybody good? Feel good about yourselves? No need for smokestacks on your pickup truck, right? All right, everybody good. All right, let's do a nerd. This one's 3.1, number 12 in the book, number 7 online. And usually when I pull up homework questions, I tell you whether it's a test question or not. Nah, I don't like it, but it could be a test question, but I wouldn't, if I saw it, I wouldn't pick it. But it could be because, but let's go ahead and find everything. First, you got to find the missing number. Okay, now the first question people get here, how the heck do you find the missing number? Well, how many numbers are there in counting the one you don't know? There's 6. So n is equal to what? 6. Is that odd or even? It's even. So that means the middle 2 numbers have to equal what? The median. So you do the formula. Take your handy dandy median formula, which is going to be, how do I do this? Your second, your third. Please work with me, please. It's better if they on the phone. It's going dead. Where's the, no, you could write on these. I'm not a dinosaur, I guess. Okay. So the third number, x sub 3 plus x sub 4, that means the third number plus the fourth number divided by 2 is going to be equal to 30 point what? 5. Okay, now where did I get this? This is the formula for the median with what? Even n. Okay, that's where I got that. You take the 2 middle numbers, add them together, and divide by what? Take the average of the middle 2 numbers. Now everybody in here knows that. Y'all said y'all knew that when I went over it. Okay, so let's go back to our grades. 72, 74, 76, 78, 80, and 85. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 numbers here. How do you find the median? You take these two, 76 plus 78, and divide by 2, and that will give you the middle number, which is right there. So that formula is right there. All right, what's the third number? What's the fourth number? X over 2 is equal to 30.5. How do you get rid of dividing by 2? You multiply both sides by 2 using your pre-algebra. Dang old multiply by 2, you get 23 plus x is equal to 61. Help me out. And how do you get rid of adding 23? Subtract 23 or take it across the river, whichever one you like to do. And it becomes negative 23. And x is equal to, I have no earthly idea, 39, 38, what is it? And that's your middle number. Now let's go ahead and find the mean and all that good stuff for it while we're at it. And find the standard deviation. My voice don't give out.
Is it going to be a lot more algebra?
That's about the only algebra we do in here. I want to try to get y'all to fail. I might bring in some college algebra in here so I can get y'all to fail. Well, you got a B in 102. You had to fight half the college to get it, but you got it. I think you ought to write an article for the connection and put it in there, or for the paper. What to do when your teacher won't listen to you.
I asked the lady that reviewed, after why did you send an email, which I noticed that they were coming late. I said, so you get paid a job to do a job, so your boss have to email you. They were so good.
What'd she say?
She said, no. Well, I think they're expected to do a job. And I said that she
Well,
had high enough.
you didn't get to see half the grades, did you? Well, no, she messed up. She's having trouble getting in. What?
When that article gets published, I got one for it too.
I mean, I just can't imagine what some of these teachers do.
Hey,
If I even thought about doing what some of these teachers do, I'd get written out for thinking of it. Dang old Minority Report. Dang old thinking about it.
we had the third test coming up.
Uh-huh.
And had not even got the score for that for the second test. It's like, I mean,
And people wonder why I do my test online. How long does it take you to get your feedback when you're online? Seconds. Let's see if she's on now. That would be a no. Okay. All right, so now we got these 4. Let's go with our Excel spreadsheet.
hey, how do you store a number in there? Like, when I want to subtract
Stove? You type the number in and hit stove. Like where you go get bread at the stove.
You go.
STO. And then alpha, and then whatever you want to save it as, what letter,
Okay.
and then enter. Alright. 7, 12, 23, what is it, 38, 41, and 51. Alright, so there's our numbers. We know n is equal to 6. And we don't have to do this for the question. I'm doing this just for practice for y'all for the test, because this is the type of question I'm going to ask. Mean and standard deviation. So mean, median, range, mid-range, variance, and standard deviation. I'll give y'all a couple more minutes to get everything. So what went on at Hannah yesterday? Dang old riot. Dang old 12 people fight. All those at Westside our senior year.
What I thought about.
Stupid stuff.
It's no sense in her.
Yeah, basically something stupid. People want attention mainly, in my opinion. Nobody knows anything about it?
No, I haven't heard anything on the news. They're just.
Oh, I found out on Facebook. I don't watch the news. I don't watch the local news. It's stupid. What? I heard that a couple of them actually went to jail. Let them go to jail. Let them spend some time in jail. They'll figure out. Yeah, go ahead and let them spend some time in real jail. They'll humble them down real quick. I'm a firm believer on I don't know what you call it, but if you do something bad, especially to a child, then you should be susceptible to that same for punishment. That's what you should be punished. Say again? Yeah, exactly. Let you go in. If you beat a child, then somebody needs to beat you. I don't know what that kind of punishment that is, but that's something like that. Especially when you're talking about hitting a woman, hitting a child, with your fist or something like that. I'm not talking about giving a whooping and a whipping. There's two differences in a whooping and a whipping, right? Whipping is just a whipping. Whooping, that's worse than whipping. Yeah, whipping is what you do in public. Whooping is what you do at home. Yeah, exactly. Do it in a soundproof room, My mama, she used to whip me and the dog would bite me. Because our dog, we had border collies. And they're very protective. And my mother would train them. And my mother would give me a whipping with a switch. And we'd go around in circles because I'd try to get away from the switch. Well, the dog would think I was wrestling with her, so she'd start biting me. Well, not biting me. A border collie really doesn't bite, it kind of nips. So I tell that story to everybody. It was better than my dad. My dad would chase me down with a push axe or a truck. So my dad was pretty rough. But I didn't turn out crazy or anything, so there ain't nothing wrong with, I think punishment is a good thing. I think it teaches people.
Kids' brains when they're born.
They're not snowflakes either. What?
Their brains are in the rear end when they're born.
Yeah.
And the more you whip them, they just get brains.
Yeah, it moves them up. Kind of like the thing you hit with the hammer.
Yeah. By the time they get a teenager, it's like it's getting up.
Exactly. Well, with men, it takes a little bit longer.
You
It
get
takes
that
about,
hard.
at 35 or 40, they start to wisen up.
Some of them.
Yeah. But you still have 40-year-olds cruise them all. I know a couple. I know a couple that I graduated with that are still. And then people wonder why I can predict when people are going to get separated. Well, if you got a 30-year-old child, yeah, the woman's not going to put up with that. Duh. All right, I guess I got to do it now. Let's find the mean. The mean is equal to all these summed up. Oops. Divided by what? Well, it disappeared on me. What happened? Ooh, I know. Try that again. Again. There we go. There. Divided by, not x, but n. 6. Here's the mean. Now we're going to take the mean away from, okay, we got to do the median, sorry. So that's equal to, parentheses, this guy plus this guy divided by 2. And of course, that's what we started off with, 30.5. Mode, I really don't care about, and there's not one, so I'll put nairn. Range is equal to what? The highest minus the lowest. Mid-range is equal to, parentheses, the highest plus the lowest divided by what? And then the variance equals this number minus this number, F4, enter. That number. Sum that up. And that's equal to that number divided by, parentheses, 6 minus what? Yeah. 303 is what I got. And the standard deviation is equal to that raised to the 0.5 power. So if we wanted to draw a graph of this or a normal distribution, that and equals this plus, oops, sorry, I messed up. I suck. I went to group last night. Had a hangover this morning. There we go. Equals this plus. I actually said that to a class one time, and I had a girl come up to me and say, I'm offended. I'm like, why are you offended? I go to group. Now, why would you tell me that? I mean, you don't advertise something like that, okay? I had one student come up to me, and I told him that I was the black sheep of the family, and she came up to me and said, I'm offended. And I said, why? Well, you use the word black in a negative connotation. I said, what do you call the sheep that's not white? What do you call a hole in space? A black hole. What do you call a sheep that's not white? This.
That's such a just standard terminology.
I said, until you come up with a different color for non-white, I said I can use black. I just don't understand the other one though. Why would you tell somebody that you had group? Nobody would know that unless what? You told them. Snowflake. Hey, Snowflake. Well, I'm trying there. I'm subtracting and adding and not having to do it 15 times. Equals this minus this, that's 4. The normal curve. So 95% of the population falls within what? 2 standard deviations. There's 95%. So I'm going to highlight those for normal. Well, no, I'm going to go up here and highlight them to normal. I'll get there eventually. There. So if you draw your handy dandy curve, you ought to see me try to do this yesterday without a, no, without, you know, with hangover I can do it. Without a Epson. This is an Epson board, Epson projector. All right, let's color this thing up a little bit. We know that this is 95%, so this is normal. I have to put that in quotation marks because somebody will tell me this stuff wrong. And then, what is this right here? In this area right here, what is that? In this area right here, what is that? Actually, what is that? What's the opposite of normal? Weird. No, you can't use weird. That might offend somebody. Unusual. What did you say, Miss Smith?
I got it wrong.
Okay. You say weird too. You could use special. Whenever somebody says blessed or special or unique, that's not a compliment. That's really saying you're an idiot. Or you're what? Weird. Blessed.
So it's 34%, and then
Yeah.
14, and then like a percent and a half.
Okay, let's take another color. And what is this?
All right.
That's your 6th foot, 7th graders. Michael Jordan's. I would say Tiger Woods, but I'm not sure if I can do that. Poor guy. At least he wasn't drunk. Poor guy just. But you got. I feel sorry for him. I mean, I was a Tiger. I still am a Tiger fan. I think he did to golf what Dale Earnhardt did to racing. I mean, he brought more people into golf. And I think he's just a little bit bored if you think about it. If you've accomplished everything you want to accomplish in life, and all you're doing is making money. I mean, I know that making money sounds great, but so does living out on your own. But after about 2 years, the partying gets what? It's old. Everything gets old. And can you imagine living? So I feel a little bit sympathetic for him.
What was he on?
He was on like 4 different medications. He didn't even know where he was. Poor guy. He needs a woman. He needs a good woman. One that won't chase him around with golf clubs. That crazy woman. I think she was crazy, but he did deserve that
I
one.
think he's had a few.
Yeah.
That didn't work out for some
He
reason.
needs to find a good woman that'll hit him upside the head when he needs it. Not chase him around in public with golf clubs. These are outliers. Now, it's important that you realize that these are not the same as these. In other words, these, it's unusual. You get somebody that makes 700 on SAT, on a math portion, that's unusual. But you get somebody that makes 800, that's an outlier. Okay. Remember, if I asked you, what is between 11 and 46? You should be able to tell me 68%. Empirical rule. if I asked you, what is between 46 and 80, you should tell me what, 34, let's see, that's 13.5 and 2.5, what is that, 16%? Something like that.
In the last little snippet, you said.
Yeah, that's 0.015, yeah. So it'd be 2.35 plus, so it'd be 15.85 or something like that. Somebody do the math
Okay.
for me.
The 34, 13 and a half. And
Yeah.
3 and a half,
You got to remember the empirical rule.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to remember.
Okay, so let's do a frequency distribution. And I'll be lenient. I know some of y'all like had a conniption and a cardio malfunction or whatever it's called. You know, like had all kind of faces at me yesterday, the other day. I won't do that again. Thought I was gonna have a coup. For some of y'all that don't know what a coup is, it's like a mutiny. Okay. All right. So let's go with.
Isn't that what you would call the parents these days?
What they do? What?
What they did at the parents at that graduation, the stage to CPR, right?
That was called stupid.
Yeah, it's called stupid because those people are going to be employed by somebody and they're going to recognize the face and say, "Hey, wasn't you one that walked out? Okay, get out of here,
Yeah.
snowflake."
You can walk out again.
Actually, there's been people on the news that come on and say they're anti-snowflake. You know, when they hire somebody, they even got questions that you can get now that you can put on that you can actually ask during an interview to detect if you are hiring a snowflake, because people don't want snowflakes. You have to look it up. They have them on Google.
Yeah, they're only supported in high-level universities.
Yeah, where you
That's the only place they thrive.
yeah, where you go, you can't afford to go there, so you take out loans. You take out loans, and you take out loans for the underwater firefighting degree, and then you can't get a degree in underwater firefighting, so you get mad at the government and say that we should have free tuition.
And you can't get a job.
Yeah, you can't get a job to
because
pay.
it's not fair.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. You picked the university, you picked the degree. I'm sorry. Suck it up, snowflake. What?
And they choose to assume that the world's changed to fit their will and that they adapt.
Yeah. And that's not the way it works. Dang old rock, dang old get hit, dang old get back going. All right, so let's go with 10 to 14. Nope, that ain't gonna work because it's gonna think it's a date. I don't feel like changing it, so I'm gonna go 10 to 19. Really? Hold on a second. I'm having a brain bubble. Oh, okay, I know what to do. I'll do this. 10. There we go. 10.
No. What if you did like space?
No, it's. How do you? How does it know that I'm picking 10th of January? I just said 10. Let's go here and see what happens. Wow, somebody explain that to me. Thank you. Excel guy, thank you. All right, let's go with 10 to 14. And then 15 to 19. And 20, no yawning in class. 24, 25 to 30, or 29, 30 to 34, and 35 to 29. 39. Don't get over 29, so. Well, try to be nice. All right, let's say 2, 5, 8, 9, 1, 9, 2, and 1.
Usually crazy.
Well, I'm trying to put a normal distribution in there. All right, that's lower class limit, upper class limit, and frequency. And I'll bring in your handy dandy, I still got them on here. Nobody turned the computer off. There they are. There's your, I'll leave them big for a while. Find the mean and standard deviation, and then I want you to draw out the normal distribution curve. And then after these two, we're going over z-scores. Oh yeah, that last homework question that somebody sent, it was on z-scores. That's why I haven't covered it yet. It's from my online class. Now, if you can't do it, just consider yourself a failure. What? Which one? Okay, let me make it bigger. Oh Lord, my mother's calling. Cows are out. How's that? Is that better? Okay, Miss Already is here. Bain,
Here.
Bennett is here. Ken is here. I'm not even gonna ask because I can't hear you. Chapman. Dong is here. Ellis is here. Godinez, did you make it? Where are you at? Okay. How was the DMV? Depressing? It's about depressing. There's three things that are depressing in Anderson County. One is the DMV. Two is the Walmart in LA. And three is court. When people show up in pajamas. And these people procreate.
Some of them have one.
Yeah. All right. Goolsby, not here. Hoyt is here. Latimer is here. McClure is here. McElhannon, bless her heart, she did make it. I don't think she made it. Moore. Phillips. Ritchie is here. Reinhardt is not here. Roberts is here. Rosita. Here. Smith is here. Welburn.
Here.
And Williams. Let's see Miss Williams here today. Okay, I got that done, so I ain't got to worry about that. Okay, so what's the first thing you have to find when you're dealing with, okay, you want me to wait? Okay.
Is it pretty common on roll distribution? You will go, when you subtract the name like negative, and you get into a positive, back into negative.
That's normal.
Okay.
And the reason you square it is so you're dealing with a positive number. What's the first thing you need to find on the frequency distribution? Midpoint, good. So X is midpoint, and over here, sorry. And the midpoint is the lower class limit plus the upper class limit divided by what? And you copy that down. You also need to have N. And N is equal to the summation of what? F. Is that a bird? Driving me crazy. I got one that's on my back deck, and every time the cat comes out, that bird goes, meow, meow, meow. I'm like, God. All right.
They all got little babies right now.
Yeah, and that's why. I mean,
Yeah,
okay, and the cat just sits there and looks at the bird like, I'm not bugging you. Why you? It's funny.
As it spits out of that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so what is x bar? X bar is a summation of x over what? N. So we got to add this up. Oh, f times x, I'm sorry. I'm stupid. F times x I think I should just quit today. F times x, and that's going to be equal to f times x and summation. So this is green and this is yellow. And to find the mean, x bar is equal to this guy divided by this guy. I got 24, 23. What'd y'all get? Good. So if you didn't get it right, that means what? You're a failure. No, we don't use the word idiot. We use failure in here. We embrace failure in this class. That way you can live in a ditch. All right, now I want you to find the mean and the standard deviation. So let's look at the mean and the standard deviation, f times x squared. So we're going to need x squared. So I'm going to put a column in here. Insert. We're going to call this one x squared. And then over here, I'm going to put f times x squared. F times x squared. Now, what's the biggest mistake students make when doing this problem? No, that's the second. That's the second one. The first is they use the wrong columns. They'll say f. They'll take this 12 and multiply it by this 144, or they'll take this 2 and multiply it by 24. They pick the wrong columns. All right, so be careful. Yeah, that's the second most popular mistake. Okay, now we got everything to do the mean and the standard deviation. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put variance. What's n? Is equal to 27. And then what are we going to do? The summation of f times x squared, that's right here. Call that thing old aqua. That's yellow. That's aqua. Yellow. Out from around here it's yellow. Just like people pronounce OIL differently. And the summation of f times x, quantity squared, so I'm going to take this guy and raise him to the second column. All over n times what? Okay, and everybody, that's what you're putting in your handy dandy formula for the variance. Yes?
Would you be willing to do one of these, writing the information, not maybe the calculation part, but just
Nope.
the cost part?
I can't get it all on the I can't get it all on the board.
Just this little part that you just did.
Well, I mean, that is that formula right there. Let me move that formula over. And I'll do this. I'm trying to help you. Hold on, let me take. Let me bring that in. Okay, that right here, okay, look at it. That formula right there for the variance is right here. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll, might take a minute to do it, but I'll do it. Take that handy dandy yellow marker, and I'll put that there. And handy dandy, that's as close as I can get with that aquamarine. Aquamarine is right there, or the blue. And then the green is right here. Oops, I need to erase some of that. There. Does that help? Is that what you were asking? And if you look, I got all of that information from over here. There's nothing calculated over here. I have nothing calculated over here. I did all the calculations right here. You see what I'm saying? In other words, I haven't made any numbers up over here. They all come from these three right here. Okay? And technically this should be yellow also. I can't highlight 26 because I don't have a highlight on 26. That's in my thing.
So what did you subtract from
Subtract what?
on your variance formula, top right second?
This right here.
Yeah.
There's a minus right there. Hadn't done it yet.
So you got
These two right here. Right there. Does that help?
yeah.
And then this is this. And then this is this. And then this is this. Does that help? Does that help, Ms. Robert? So if you did write it out, it would look like this. Variance is equal to 27 times 15583 minus 629 quantity squared over 27 times 26. Is that what you want? Okay. I'm gonna erase it this minute. Because I need that room to do something else. Okay? Who else has got a question? Okay, now do the math. Take your handy dandy calculator and crunch it out. So here we go. Variance is equal to And I'm going to take that 27 and multiply it by what? A number. And it's going to be an even BA number. BA number. And then minus. And then it's going to be this number raised to the what? Second power over, no coughing in class either. You can't, it doesn't matter. Take some orange juice. Drink some orange juice. Yeah, take some orange juice. You can only breathe in here, that's it. All right, now the next step, there's a check. And what's that check? How do you know if you got the answer at least decently correct? Halfway correct. No. The top should be what? Positive or negative? Why? Because you can't take the square root of a what? A negative number and take the variance, make the variance into the standard deviation, you take the square root of it, right? If you get a negative in either one of these numbers right here, then you basically saying there is no standard deviation, and that's impossible. Okay? So the variance is equal to this number divided by this number. I got 36. What'd y'all get? I bet y'all can guess what the standard deviation is. 6. Actually 5.8 equals this number raised to, I'm not sorry. Yeah. Raised to the what? 0.5 power. Oh, I'm sorry, 5.9. I'm off a little bit. Actually, it's 6. Now, draw your handy dandy curve. I'm going to go ahead and mark these two. Well, this one's most important. So I'm going to mark this with another color. Well, as soon as I get a chance. Oh, gosh. Go ahead and draw it while I uncluster my mess up here. We'll color that magenta. Going the wrong color. I got so many highlights up here. I don't know what I'm doing. Where's my magenta? Let's find magenta or mauve. That's a mauve right there. Let's do that. And then our mean, we'll color it dang old a yucky orange. How about that? So I take my handy dandy yucky orange and I put it in the middle. On the right side equals this number plus standard deviation F4, and I copy that over twice. And then equals this number minus the standard deviation F4, and then I copy that over twice. And those all centered, and I'm just going to make them to the first power because I don't care nothing about looking at them like that. So number, not to the first power, first decimal place, there we go. So that's what our, now remember what you just did. You basically took a frequency distribution, which most of you have probably never dealt with, and you found not only the mean and the standard deviation, but you found out what it looks like. And you know that 95% is going to fall between 11 and what? 35. And unusual is between these numbers, and outliers are there. And some of y'all have never dealt with a frequency distribution before. You just basically looked at it and said, okay, that's a frequency distribution. Now you find the mean on the standard deviation. Capiche? Feel good about yourself? So you don't have to plaster on too much makeup and look like a Oompa Loompa?
I'm getting there. Keep pumping it up. I'm getting there.
You getting there?
Okay.
Okay, well, don't put on too much makeup,
I'll
because it looks
cancel my
awful.
order for the smokestacks.
Have you, okay. Well, don't forget, you also gotta order $10,000 rims and wheels for a $1,000 car.
It gets expensive.
And then you gotta put the audio equipment in it, the video, the screens and everything.
Self-esteem is expensive.
Notice that the engine is blowing blue smoke, which means the engine is shot. But you got wheels, you got rims, and you got video and audio equipment in your $1,000 car.
Perfect.
Yep. All right, y'all feel good about yourself? You're supposed to say, everybody's supposed to say yes, Hubert.
You get there.
Y'all suck. All right, so let's go over Z-scores. I only got 10 minutes, so hopefully y'all will get it in 10 minutes. What are Z-scores? Well, class is over at 210, right? No, I think it's 210, right? Somebody tell me, for real. Don't lie to me.
The class ends at 2:30, according to the schedule.
Class ends at 2:30, okay. I'm thinking of another class. Okay, thank you, Mr. Hoyt. Thank you for being honest. I'm gonna give you 10 points on your next test for being honest.
Awesome.
You lying people in here.
Yeah, it's like it gets earlier every day.
Huh?
Like 1:50.
Oh, then I got all the time in the world. What I'm gonna pull up is something that I don't know if any of you seen before or not. Hold on, I gotta go back in here and this is so frustrating. It's a conspiracy. What?
I done it online last semester. I started this class online and then dropped it. Because I was taking another class and trig.
I didn't know that.
And I was like,
Who'd you have?
It was old Anzer, whatever his name is. Anzer, I don't know how to say it.
That's probably. Okay.
The trig was just killing it.
Yep.
Just time-wise, you know.
LBJ. It's the best one. It's the best one to use. Z-score. Well,
There's one the fourth one. Oh, that's what you did.
fourth one, right here. No, that's not it. LBJ. There it is. Let me cut it out for you. You don't have to copy it word for word, but you need to copy down most of the information, meaning the numbers and stuff, okay? So you don't have to use all these big words and stuff.
I thought it was LeBron James.
No, he ain't that famous.
I was like, what?
Even though they want him to be the next Michael Jordan, he's not there yet. I don't think anybody will replace Michael Jordan. Okay. There we go. Now, when you read the question, you're going to say, well, any idiot can tell you Shaq is taller. Well, that's not what the question's asking. All right, let's go ahead and write it down. I'm going to blow it up for some of our back rowers that sit in the back row. There you go. Get most of the information, which means the question is who is relatively tall? And then you can switch out LBJ for Lyndon Baines Johnson and Shaq for Shaquille O'Neal. You don't have to write down the teams, just write down, basketball team, and then the last 2 or 3 sentences is the most important. Now, the reason I use this question is because when we were using the Triola book, which was a good book, I don't know why we switched, but I'm not in charge of Math 120, so this question was in there, and people loved it because they could actually relate to it as far as comparing apples to oranges, and that's what you're doing. I mean, if you want to think of 2 ends of the spectrum, presidents and basketball players, they have nothing in common. Except for, being predominantly male. That's about it. But what are the qualifications for being president of the United States?
Maybe 35, right?
Got to be a certain age. Yeah, I say 35, but I don't know if that's right or not.
Yes, sir.
35.
Born
You
in
have to
the
be born in the U.S. And then you have to be what?
Have lived in the United States for a minimum of 14 years.
Yep. Or Arnold Arnold.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, because
We would have done in California.
exactly. I don't think California was too successful. But anyway, is it an advantage for being president? No, not really, even though Jeb Bush thought that, because he stood on his tiptoes when
Yeah. Maybe a perception of how it's
Yeah.
all been.
Anyway, you can't say that about FDR. Why?
Is it? Oh, yeah.
He had polio and was confined to a wheelchair for a good portion of his presidency, wasn't he? So he was real short.
And they hit it, didn't they?
Yeah, they tried to.
I mean,
Yeah,
like fun.
they tried to.
Those are so much TV.
Guess who else had polio? And you didn't know. Just Floyd on the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you notice in the latter 3 years, I think it's 3 seasons, the last 3-4 seasons, he was always sitting down. He had polio. I'm gonna agree with me, so I would know. I would about the only person that would know that. If anybody wants to play Andy Griffith trivia, I had 2 games in my office. Nobody would play them. Anyway, there is no advantage for being tall as a president. So therefore, we have the shortest president being who? Madison was one of them. Who's the other one in yesterday's class? Who did she say? There was 2 presidents that were like 5'4" and 5'5". Yeah, 5'3" and 5'4". That's short.
The one was whatever his name was, it was 5'4", and then the other one didn't have his
Didn't have the height in it.
officially
Yeah.
documented that he was shorter than 5'4".
Yeah.
Wow.
So 5'4" is like Napoleon. Actually, Napoleon was not that short. It's just that everybody else was taller than him. When they took a picture, they took a very famous picture, and all these generals or whatever was taller than he was, and so he got to. He was short, but he had to overcompensate, and that's why he tried to take over the world, because he had short man syndrome. Anyway, just think if that picture had not been taken, he wouldn't have had short man syndrome. He wouldn't try to take over the world. He could have just settled for smokestacks on his pickup.
Yeah.
And y'all seen the smokestacks on the pickup truck? Anybody know why you have smokestacks on big trucks? I explained this to one of my classes, and they just thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Yeah. No, the transfer trucks. That's what I'm talking about. Why did they put the smokestacks on transfer trucks?
So that the smoke is interfering with vision.
Close. Because when you pull up to a red light, and the old, in the 60s, 50s, and 60s, where did the diesel exhaust come out of? It came out of the bottom, like a car on the old trucks. And you didn't have air conditioning back then, and everybody rolled around with their what? Windows down. So if you stopped at a red light, what happened with the diesel smoke? It came into your car. So they couldn't stop it. So what they did is they put the smokestacks up the back, so that way over the trailer, so that way at a red light, when you're sitting beside an 18-wheeler, that is the only reason for smokestacks. It's not for horsepower. Everybody tells you it's for horsepower. That's a bunch of crap. Everybody tells you it's for torque. That's a bunch of crap. It's all because Napoleon complex. And if you don't know what Napoleon complex is, you need to look it up. It has to do with height, hair, and so, yeah, hands. All right, so it's no advantage. Well, what about being a basketball player? Okay, how many in here was ever tall in the grade, like 6th grade? Was you tall? And what did the gym coach want you to do?
I said,
Play basketball. You didn't ask to play basketball, did you?
yeah,
Did you suck at it, or were you good at
no,
it?
I actually at that point just killed it.
Oh, you
I was
did?
so tall.
Oh, yeah. You were like
Accident.
Shaquille O'Neal, weren't you? You just, boom, boom. How tall were you?
I don't even remember.
But you were taller than everybody
taller
else.
than everybody, most everybody. There's only a few guys in my grade that were close to me.
Yeah. And so, of course, the guy comes up, the gym coach comes up to him and says, I want you to play basketball. So recruitment for basketball is usually based on what? Height. So, who is the big fish in the little pond, and who is the little fish in the big pond? Okay, do y'all know what big fish in little pond and big fish, you know what that means, right? If not, that's your parents' fault. Okay. Huh? The president is a big fish in a little pond, and what is Shaq? He's a little fish. I know you can't put little with Shaq.
Yeah, that don't.
That don't go good, but he's a little fish in a big pond. Why? Because everybody in the NBA, 98% of the NBA is above what? 6 foot. Whereas you can't say that for the presidency, because for presidency you have John Quincy Adams, another guy that was 5'3". All right? Can you imagine being 5'3"? You're kidding. You might know. Oh, the president was a little bit taller than me. That's wild. Poor guy. Anyway, to make a long story short, that is what relative means. When you're comparing yourself to a population, to your population. So, who is relatively taller? 5'1" for a woman, or how tall are you? 6'3" for a man. Who is relatively tall? Well, you can't say, oh, golly, this guy is 6'3". He's taller. I didn't say taller. I said relatively tall. He's a little fish in a big pond. She's a big fish in a little pond. Because, I don't know if 5'1" would be tall for a woman, but I don't think it is. 5'6" is tall for a woman, right? Yeah, 5'6" is usually tall for a woman on average. Of course, 6 foot, that's unusual. And then 6'2" would be an outlier. But I think the average is around 5'5" for a woman, I think. And 5'7", 5'6" would be a little bit out of the normal. Okay? To make a long story short, when you're comparing women to men heights, or you're comparing presidents to basketball players' heights, you can't compare apples and oranges. So you have to put them on one playing field, and that is to assign them both a z-score, and then see how they fare compared to zero. The further they are out, the more ER they are. Fatter, shorter, faster, slower,
taller, shorter, whatever the case may be. So, what do? Well, you just quit this problem and go to the next problem, right? That's what you do, 'cause that's easy. Huh?
So I've done it right then.
Yeah, you did it right. Everybody did it right. Quit. When the tough gets going, what do?
Quit.
Quit and blame Russia or George Bush. All right, so here we go. Z for a statistic is equal to X minus X bar over standard deviation. Or for the populations, same formula, just different letters, is equal to X minus mu over standard deviation. Now, the only reason you need to know the parameters, in case somebody throws this on a board and says, okay, we're using X minus mu over sigma, and you say, okay, he's doing the population mean for his Z-score. It doesn't matter. The formula is the same. Okay? There is one other formula, no sneezing in class either. Can't sneeze, you can't cough, and you can't yawn. All right? The other formula is X is equal to Oz plus mu. And I'll explain that later. So I'm going to erase this because I don't care about that. I'm just showing you that there is a difference in formula. Really? And I want you to find the Z-score. Yeah, she just got mad and left. I want you to find the Z-score for Shaq, and then I want you to find the Z-score for the president. Same criteria as follows. If you can't do it, just consider yourself a failure. And I'm going to call this one I'm going to do colors, animate this for y'all. We'll do, since he was a Democrat, even though he was a racist Democrat, ain't no such thing, right? Z, what was that guy in the news lately that said something bad and he's a Democrat? Oh, on the Fox News Network, the guy, the Democrat on the Fox News Network, he went off on the IT guy that was black. I couldn't believe that. Democrats, they think Democrats are racist. Even though they gave us the KKK and slavery.
Yeah.
Anyway, Z sub LBJ is equal to, what's his X? How tall is he? 75. Minus, what's the mean of the presidents? 71. Oh, you actually read. I wasn't expecting that. And what's the standard deviation of the presidents? 2.1. So somebody crank that through your calculator, and the Z-score for LBJ is equal to what? 1.7. Okay, let's do Shaq. We'll do him in red. Not that he's a Republican, but I don't think he is, but I think, no, he was on Fox News one time, so evidently he's leans to the right of some, maybe. Z sub S is equal to, he's 85 inches, and his is 80 over 3.3. So the Z-score for Shaq is equal to what? 1.5. So now we got to go to the normal curve. And on the Z-score, the mean is always 0, and the standard deviation is 1. So that's 1, 2, -1, -2. LBJ is blue. LBJ is at 1.7. So LBJ is right about there. Shaq is at 1.5. So who is relatively taller? LBJ is relatively taller because he's more toward the unusual. So LBJ is.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you compare apples and oranges. You put them on the Z-score. Now, there's 2 or 3 things you can do with Z-scores. That's one, is compare apples and oranges. What's another way? Well, another problem you can do with Z-scores is you can actually find the area under a curve with a Z-score. Area, percentage, I'm going to say percentile, sorry. Or probability. All 3 of these words are the same when it refers to a Z-score. Okay? So you may see a question asked for the area. You may see a question asked for the percentile. You may see something that looks like this. This is called the 50th percentile. You know, something like that for percentile. You may see the probability of 0.5 or 0.5000. Okay, those are all examples of the same thing. Okay, now with these type questions, you're either going to be given a Z-score or calculate the Z-score, whichever, and find the area, probability, or percentile. Okay? The second type problem in these problems is given the APP, meaning given one of those, find the Z-score. Okay? Now we're going to use a calculator on this, and you're going to use the table. You can use either one, calculator or table. Those that have a table in your book, those that have a book, look in your book for the table. It's called the Z-score table. There's 2, unless they put it into 1. Those of you who have a calculator, I'll pull that up right quick and show you what we're going to be looking for there. So, those that have a calculator, go ahead and get it out. Where is it? There it is. Okay, second, bars. Write that down in your notes if you got a calculator. Second bars, number 2 and number 3. Number 2 and number 3.
Bars.
It's right beside clear. It's right there.
Okay.
Second bars, number 2 and 3. So you need to write down number 2 and number 3. Write down the word in your notebook so you'll know what to look for. Because you're going to forget if you just look at your calculator, you're going to forget it. Bars, variable. B-A-R-S, bars. Number 2 and number 3. Number 2 says normal CDF. Number 3 says inverse norm. Those are the 2 keys that you're going to be using if you want to use a calculator. If you don't use a calculator, if you don't have a calculator, then you're going to have to use the handy dandy table. You can find the table, just look up Triola, or you can look up your book, either one. Triola Z-score table. And it'll pull up a lot
a lot of different ones. The first one is the one I picked right here, Formula Tables by Mario F. Triola. I met him several times. Whew. Nice guy, very boring. He'll put you to sleep just by saying hello. I mean, oh my gosh. And I went to a reception one time and we were eating, and he was like talking, and like people were just sitting there going, it was like zombie. It was zombie. It was like,
Maybe you regret asking a question.
I didn't go back to the other reception. I didn't go back.
You think, do they notice?
Huh?
Do they notice?
I don't know. I don't know.
No.
I hope I'm not that boring.
People don't pick up on substance abuse.
Oh yeah, that's
People
true.
don't. They just don't.
That's true. I know several people that are social misfits. I mean, and when I say social misfits, they tell a joke, they get a joke 15 minutes after somebody tells it. And then they laugh out loud in an open forum like this, in a classroom. You'll just be sitting there, everybody be working 15 minutes after the joke, and they'll go, ha ha ha! And everybody looks at them like they're crazy. I had a couple of students like that one time. All right, there's the positive Z-scores and negative Z-scores. Now look in your book. Somewhere, if you've got a book and you don't have a calculator, somewhere in your book this should be in there. Okay, it's usually the harder cardboard type. If you got a book, let me see where it is in your book. There it is. Where is it? Is it in the back?
I think this is something.
You ain't got anything behind it, so yeah, that would be this back.
Yeah, I guess this is a bunch of.
Duh! I play football.
I don't know that this is it.
That's it. Yeah. It's a cardboard fold-out table. Everybody sees it right here. If you don't hold it up
I'll
where
sell
everybody
it
sees
to
it. Yeah. He'll sell it to you for $1.
$100.
Yeah. Okay, there it is. You need to print that out or you need to use it if you don't have a calculator. Okay? If you do have a calculator, then use whatever you want to, either one. All right, I'm going to keep that up there because we're going to go back to it. Now, let's go to a question that you might see with these type problems. So let me do this. I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to move this over here, like that. I do so much for y'all. Y'all know that? Y'all ought to be appreciative. Given a Z-score. All right, so let's say, let me do this, and do this, and do this. And go here, and there, and down, up. I know, y'all are impressed. I get that all
I
the
can tell
time.
you had training for this.
I tell you, I've had multiple training. The story is about the training is about 2 semesters ago, they put these systems in. Guess when they put them in? Day before the semester started.
Oh, God.
They went to each campus and had a 5-minute training session on how to use these. They didn't even know how to use them themselves. So, you had 2 options. You either learned how to use the system or you didn't use it. And guess what? Most of the dinosaurs on this campus, on Pendleton campus, guess what they decided to do? So, you have these $18,000 presentation systems, and all they're doing is sitting there because they weren't properly trained. So that's why you go into a Pendleton classroom, and these things are sitting there, and the dinosaur, the T-Rex, is using the whiteboard. Anyway, I just think it's a shame. All right, find the area probability percentile that is represented by 1.67. All right, first thing you want to do is draw a picture. Now, I actually tell students, let me show you what I tell them. And for 30 students that I tell, 2 actually do what I tell them. And you have to go to the internet, and I know it's real hard to get to the internet. You have to actually click a button, and you have to type in something. Here you would type in normal distribution with Z store or something like that. And you have to type another button. You have to hit images. And then you go here and you can pick which one you want. And let's say you want one that has the actual, where's the one I usually use? Let's see it yet. Well, I don't see the one I usually use, but I'll go with one like I usually use, like this one. And you hit save picture as, and you save it as normal distribution curve, whatever. And you save it. And then what I tell students to do is pull up the word processor. I didn't show them how to do this, and they still don't do it. And you insert picture, and you bring that picture in. No, that's not the right one. That's the dang old empirical word. Insert picture, and you bring it in, and you make it the size that you want, and you put 2 or 3 on each side. Go to page layout, margins, no margins, narrow margins, okay. And you can put like 2 across or 1, make it 1 or 2, and then run like 10 or 12 copies of it. What I tell students to do is maybe put 3 to 6 on a page. And then copy, and then paste. Now remember, this takes a lot of work, okay? You have to do this, it takes a bit, maybe 5 minutes. It's a lot of work, but some of y'all can do it. I really do believe you can do it. Now you might have to set the columns somewhere in here. You can set columns, set it to 2, and then you can put it. Now you figure it out. It should be. I don't know why it won't. Well, you need to fix it however you want to. But make 2 columns and put them on both columns, run you about 10 or 15 copies. Because you're going to see this now, and you're going to see it in chapter 6 and 7 and 8 and 10. So you're going to be drawing these things over and over and over. Okay? So for the 2 students that are actually going to do this, that's how you do it. Because 19 of y'all, it's just too much work. Because you have to print it out and you have to run copies. It's a lot of work. I know. Yeah. I know what you're going through. I mean, it's just real difficult. All right. Let me pull it up here so I can do a better. There we go. Sorry about that. You ought to see me when I teach 4 classes back to back. God, when I do that in the fall and the spring, I can hardly operate this daggum thing. All right, so there's our picture. Now, what we're wanting to know is what percentage is going to fall at 1.67. So 1.67 is right in here. You're going to guesstimate right in there. Now, unless it says greater than or more than, you're going to find it on the left-hand side. And this is the area P. That right there, that area right there, or that percentage, or that probability is those hash marks to the left of 1.67. Now all you have to do is find the area. Now, in grammar school, you have a number line, right? And that number line, this arrowhead is called negative infinity, and this arrowhead is called what? Positive infinity. Now, for instructional purposes in this class, we're going to say that infinity is 9999 on the side. You can use 3 nines, you can use 4 nines, you can use 10 nines if you want to. But I just use 4. You can use 3. And over here is negative 9999. That's for the calculator. Okay? Now, which way do we read?
Left to right, Hubert. That's right, class, unless you're from Middle East, Masalama. Masalama means fourth piece. If you're from anywhere but the Middle East, you read from left to right. So that means left to right. If I want to find the area, I'm going to find it from negative 9999 to what? 1.67. And that's what you would put in the calculator. Well, how do you put it in the calculator? Well, you go to second bars. You put this in your notes so you won't forget it. Second. Okay. Turn it on, door. Second bars. Go to normal CDF. Negative, right beside the enter, did not put the subtraction symbol, you put this symbol. Negative 99999, you can put 5 nines, you can put 3 nines, you can put 4 nines, don't put 2. Put at least 3 or more. Comma, 1.67. And enter. And that is 95% or 0.9525. Write that down. Your red area is 0.9525. Right here. 0.9525. That is your area, that is your percentage. Percentage would be 95%. 95.25%. Your probability would be 0.95. Okay? Now, what if I wanted the blue area? Right here. From what? 1. Good job. You remember from your probability. Left-hand side, I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's right-hand side. I told you I went to group last night. Right-hand side is equal to 1 minus the left-hand side. So right-hand side is when you see more than, and you see the words in your question, more than or what? Greater than. When you see those in your question, that means you got to use this. So if I wanted to find the right-hand side is equal to 1 and then minus the left-hand side. That's going to be 1 minus 0.9525, which is equal to 0.0475. Somebody help me out. Oh, thank you. That's called the complement. The complement is what makes up the whole. If I take a piece of pie, if I take a pie and I take a piece out of that pie, all right, the complement of the piece is the rest of the pie. The complement to the rest of the pie is the piece. Makes up the whole. Think of complement. What do they say a good woman does to a man? Compliments a man because a man is so screwed up. Huh? What'd you say?
I was thinking there's all kinds of answers.
Yeah.
What it's supposed to be is a woman is supposed to compliment a man because the man is so screwed up. Okay? And the woman is what? Where's the guys in here? 1 guy, 2 guys, 2 more? Put that in the back of your brain. When you get married, when you're 35 or 40, when you get married, don't get married until you're 35 or 40. After 35 or 40, just remember, in the back of your mind, when she's making you mad, just say, treat her like she is perfect. That's all you gotta do. And when you keep that in the back of your mind, you won't do anything stupid. Okay? But wait till you're 35 or 40 before you get married. Women, 25, 30. That's right. I think we ought to amend the Constitution. Men cannot get married until 35 with a waiver, and then 40 they can get married without a waiver. Women should not get married until they're 25 with a waiver and 30 without a waiver. The divorce rate would be a whole lot less. And I also think we should amend the Constitution. Everybody should serve 1 year overseas in a third world country in Red Cross, Peace Corps, mission field, or military.
Greenpeace.
What's that? What's Greenpeace?
Okay.
What's that? Okay.
It's that group you said $100 a month though.
I don't.
It's the animal rights.
No, I don't. I cover my animal rights. I treat cows very good. I treat pigs very good, and I treat. What else I got? I got some horses. I treat them very good. Okay. That's my. And I treat my cat very good. I shoot dogs, but I'm just kidding. All right, I'm gonna let y'all go on that. Y'all get out of here. Have a good day. Who's got questions? Stay after class. Mr. Hoyt, you good?
Yes, sir. I'm good.
Have a good weekend. Y'all should be working on pretty much all the homework now.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So that means